Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for coming. We're absolutely blown away by the turnout for Mom. We're gathered here to celebrate the incredible and remarkable life of our mom, grandmother, and friend, Maxine Porkka. A woman of many talents and a personality even larger than life itself. Whether you knew her as a passionate golfer, a bridge player, a political organizer, or a globe-trotting adventurer, one thing's for sure, Mom always left her mark wherever she went. She was a force in the community, a supporter of the arts, someone who could light up the room with her quick wit and teasing eye. Even at 92, she had the capacity to deliver the odd zinger that left us all laughing. Today, let's remember her. Let's cherish the humor, the energy, the love that she brought to our lives. Let's celebrate the way she lived, vibrant, fun, and full of life. So I think I almost know everybody, but I'm Rob Porkka. I'm Maxine's oldest son, and apparently the bossiest one, as some of my siblings would tell me. But thank you for coming today. As I said, we can't believe the support that our family has been shown today. So thanks so much. We really appreciate it. So our mom, Maxine, passed away after a long and adventurous life at the age of 92 in Red Deer. She was born in Edmonton on February 20th, 1932, to Scottish parents, George Waddell and Janet Melville Ritchie Waddell, named Spittal. In Scotland, you have to have all the names, of course. They both immigrated, and they actually met in Edmonton. Maxine's mother, in fact, arrived in Edmonton exactly 100 years ago in June of 1924. Now, George, her dad, was a widower who had 3 young children. And Janet was a single mother with a young son that came with her from Scotland. Janet worked as a governess and housekeeper for George and his young family. So, Maxine's parents are eventually married. It's kind of a story right out of The Sound of Music or the film Yours, Mine, and Ours. But her parents were definitely not Christopher Plummer and Julie Andrews. But a blended family was formed. So at age 12, much to the chagrin of my mom, her parents announced that they were going to move to Vancouver. So she did, and where she graduated from Lord Byng High School in 1950. Her yearbook entry described her as the diminutive social editor of the school paper, who is noted for her laugh and teasing eye. Seldom dateless, she had her course set on the business world. These are qualities she maintained throughout her life. So, speaking of dates, I had to go into a little history here. During her high school years, Mom had a brief romance with none other than David McTaggart, who was the founder of Greenpeace and a stellar athlete at the time. David was on a high after winning the Canadian National Badminton Championship, and Mom was right there to cheer him on. At the medal presentation, David, beaming with pride, handed his championship trophy to her to hold. Mom sat on the ground, because the ceremony was outside, clutching the trophy, when out of nowhere came a curious dog who approached with less than noble intentions. The dog was looking for a spot to pee, zeroed in on Mom and the precious trophy, and in a split second, Mom jumped up to avoid disaster. But in the process, she lost the grip on the National Badminton Trophy and snap, it was broken in two. That moment had a certain finality to it. At the end of the trophy seemed to symbolize the end of the short-lived romance. Classic Maxine story, though, full of heart, humor, and a little bit of chaos. So, in the 1950s, zooming ahead, Mom found herself in Red Deer, working at the local law firm of Burry, and Mackay. And there she caught the eye of a young lawyer, Rob Porkka, our dad, who offered to teach her how to drive. They were married in 1957. Now, speaking of driving, one of the fondest memories we have with Mom is that Dad had bought her a 1952 Chevrolet that he acquired from the Matthews family who lived on 43rd A Avenue. And it kind of brings us a smile to our face. It was the classic 3-on-the-tree manual transmission. Mom had a way of navigating it with ease, no matter how quirky the car got. The back seat had been replaced with a simple sheet of plywood on the floor, and her 3 small kids, me and Rick and Carol, would stand up in the back, holding on to whatever we could while she drove around town. There were no safety seats back in those days, just Mom's calm assurance at the wheel. She had a good driving instructor. However, one day, the old Chevy just wouldn't cooperate. After getting groceries at the downtown co-op, the engine wouldn't turn over. Instead of getting flustered, Mom got out of the car, lifted up the hood, surveyed the situation with a quick glance. She leaned, and without a beat, she slipped off her shoe, and then she gave the solenoid of the car a good whack with her heel. And the engine sprung to life. Mom, with a triumphant grin, hopped back in the driver's seat. This was just one of her ways of being resourceful, fearless, and always wanting to keep things moving, even if it meant you had to use your shoe to do it. Where's my water? Now, there's going to be a test here. Mom had a way with words that always brought a smile to her face. And I think the Askins will relate to this one because their mother was very much like that as well, who was her cousin. Anyway, she had playful expressions that were uniquely hers. For example, pet name for brother Rick was Ricky Dicky. But I wonder if you can guess what the following objects were. And be free to shout out your answer. The clicker dicker. Remote control, that one's easy. Okay, but now we're getting a little bit more risque. The sucky Susie.
Soother.
Nope, not the soother.
Vacuum.
Well, you're getting close. What kind of vacuum?
The Electrolux.
No, it was the swimming pool vacuum. She'd call it the sucky Susie, and my friends would kind of look at me, what the hell? And then, of course, she just had the expression, Lord love a duck. And I had a lot of French exchange students in my house over the year, and they'd go, Lord love a duck? What does that mean? Anyway, that confused us. Now, the Dohertys are not allowed to answer the next question. When she was mad and wanted things to settle down, she just would say, "Wheesht." Askins, do you know?
Be quiet.
Be quiet, exactly. Like, go away, be quiet. So it's either to the children or the dog who got that. Anyway, and then, of course, if she couldn't come with anything, she would call the doomahickey or the whatchamacallit, and then she'd get mad that we didn't know what the hell she was talking about. but it was always had a good laugh. So Mom was well known for her great no-nonsense organizational skills that served her well throughout her life. She was active in the community, serving as president of the Quanians, business manager, producer, and president of Central Alberta Theatre, and census commissioner, campaign manager for civic and federal politicians, just to name a few. Although I don't think any of her candidates ever won. But anyway, she had many jobs throughout her life. She worked in Vancouver, Winnipeg, Montreal, and of course here in Red Deer. She worked at Custom Meats. She worked for Lou Janko when he was starting Mustang Acres. For our neighbors, the Purnell Brothers Theaters, for many years. And of course, in Dad's law office as a bookkeeper, legal secretary, and accountant. And I know when my dad sort of was still practicing law out of the house, he expected Mom to be the legal secretary, of which she said, "I quit. You should quit too." So we're down to Mom's favorite musical, of course, was The Sound of Music, okay, which mirrored many aspects of her life. She produced the first stage presentation of the musical in Red Deer in 1982 for Central Alberta Theatre. Mom's time in Central Alberta Theatre was full of memorable moments, but one stands out was her knack of blending theatre with a good party. So after producing several dinner theatres and stage productions, including the much-loved Sound of Music, she decided that she should throw a bash for the technical crew of the Sound of Music and decided that she should have a techies night out. Now, in 1982, toga parties were all the rage. So Mom wanted everyone to unwind and have this toga party. So she hosted this party at their house for the Sound of Music crew. And true to her mischievous sense of humor, Mom arrived in a toga made out of curtains. Perfect nod to the Sound of Music. You'll see it in the slideshow later on. Mom had a special way of making people appreciated. And that night, in her curtain-draped toga, she showed once again how much she loved bringing people together for a great party. So, as I mentioned, her organizational skills were put to the test, organizing and cooking meals for parties and law office clients, which lawyers seem to have a client party either at the office or at the house at the time. And so to be super organized, we used to tease her at Christmas time. She would have the Christmas table completely set 3 days before the event. So we had to kind of blow the dust. Yeah. Okay, Barb, you're in the family, we know. Mom had an unwavering commitment to look her best. She always was dressed and impeccably stylish and well-dressed, a trait that she might have passed on to her daughter, and especially her Carol and her granddaughter, Randi, who works in the fashion industry today. Also, every Thursday for 50 years, she faithfully went and had her hair done at Eileen's Beauty Nook. And Linda Deschner, I just talked to her the other day, and she said, yeah, since more than 50 years, did her hair since 1972. Now, of course, when you go to Eileen's Beauty Nook, she was always obsessed and worried about her do. And she had actually mastered the Esther Williams crawl, effortlessly being able to swim the length of our swimming pool without getting her hair wet. So as I mentioned previously, and as you're probably picking up on the theme, Mom enjoyed to laugh and tease with a twinkle in her eye. It was just her hallmark, exactly. She relished a good party, as we said. She enjoyed playing bridge. She golfed at this golf club for probably more than 40 years. And she loved the camaraderie that she gained from that. Mom and Dad traveled the world extensively, even when international travel was a little bit less popular. And I know in about 1963, Blanche and Glenn Williams, who owned Williams Stationery, convinced them to go to Acapulco, which was just not a thing that many people did in the 60s. But off they went to Acapulco, and of course they had a great time. They also went to, I got a little bit lost here. But their biggest adventure was a solo road trip in the 1970s with her best friend and neighbor, Mary Purnell. And Mary Purnell wanted to go to Hay River, Northwest Territories, to see her dad, which at that time was very isolated and gravel most of the way once you got past Edmonton. Mom and Dad also visited Mexico and Europe when I lived in Germany and the Netherlands, many times to Hawaii, China, Thailand, and then wintered in Palm Springs. So they got to see a good chunk of the world. Mom enjoyed to read, and she took courses in interior design, and she returned to Red Deer College in 1977 to hone her accounting skills. I think Guy Hitchcock, you might have been in one of her classes, but in any event, she was so obsessed with getting an A, which were way better marks than I was getting when I was in Red Deer College, that I spent a lot of time at the Iron Horse Tavern and the Capri. So. In any event, she just wanted to become up to date in accounting. Now, you all know my mom, and as she got older, she called it like she saw it. The filter had become non-existent. She was kind of like the sharp-tongued Dowager Countess of Downton Abbey, played by Maggie Smith, who also just passed away. She wasn't shy about sharing her opinions, often with comedic flair. She would say things to me like, "Couldn't you get some new pants to wear?" And then the best one was, Mom struggled in the end. She was 6 months in the hospice, and she actually was getting better. And so she got out of the hospice, but her ability to speak, she was still quite with it, but her ability to speak was very limited and very short phrases. But my cousin Joan just came to visit, a month ago before she passed. She saw her cousin Joan, took one look at her and smiled, and then said, "I don't like your new glasses." So that was her last singer, Joan. You have the honor of getting that one. But it was a reminder of her sharp sense of humor and willing to keep everyone on her toes just 1 month before she passed away. So Mom's family dynamic was unique. With her siblings much older, her oldest brother was 21 years older than her. The closest sibling was 7 years older. So she said, "I felt like I was an only child with old parents," because as I said, it was the yours, mine, and ours, where the Von Trapp, sort of like the Von Trapps, but not. Oldest brother Jim kind of acted more like the father figure to her. But it was her cousin, Martha Askin, affectionately known as Sis, with whom she shaped her deepest bond. Both living in Red Deer, Mom and Sis supported each other through life's up and downs, forming a more sisterly bond that lasted through the years. Maxine, Mom was also close to her much older nieces and nephews than moi, but especially the Wards, Jim, Jean, and Joan. Maxine and Roy often traveled with Jean and Lou to many different destinations over the years and had lots of great adventures to places like Hong Kong and Thailand, I think. And even as the years passed, Jean and Joan came regularly to visit. So there's some memories, but I think you need to hear from a few other people in the family right now. So take a deep breath, sis. You're on. Carol, my sister Carol. I'll come out. Okay.
Hello, everyone. This is my tribute to my mom. Dear Mom, I knew your end was coming. It was expected. Now that you are gone, I feel like I'm standing at the edge of a cliff, feeling woozy from my potential fall. My grounding is unstable, but I don't fall because my roots are securely in place thanks to you. It's funny how life is. A mother cares for her children, nurtures them, feeds them, bathes them, and helps them walk. Life goes on and children grow to build their own lives, have their own children, and then the tables turn, and we cared for you in the same way. You had a way with words. Instead of, how are you, it was, what's up, Doc? Your pet name for Mark was the second onion. And any lone man approaching was, here comes God's gift to women. A friendly yoo-hoo was your announcement when popping through the screen door at the next door neighbors. You knew how to throw a party without the help of Costco or catering. I remember you and all the ladies coming in long dresses with high hair and bobbly earrings and their inside shoes in a little shoe bag to wear in the house to complete their outfit. You had a custom outfit sewn for me in an iridescent blue satin so I could greet guests at the door, check their coats, and empty ashtrays. Rob was bartender extraordinaire, fixing up a mean rye coke press at the tender age of 12.
Maybe 10.
Okay. And I'm not sure what Rick did. Likely hiding from the crowds and tending to his plants in his room, in which you bragged was developing such an interest in horticulture. Unbeknownst to you, he was watering his marijuana plants. This was rather ironic and horrifying to Dad, as he was working as the drug prosecutor in Ritchie. Soon, music would blare from the 8-track stereo, and the living room was engulfed with jiving can-cans with cigarettes and drinks in hand. You and Dad both were pretty cool liberal parents and well-liked by our friends. As teenagers, you always welcomed our friends into our home, and we had some special good parties ourselves. You tolerated many backyard pool parties where many people were pushed in the water, fully clothed, and you graciously acted as laundress to dry their clothes and return them in a neat folded pile just to start over again with the next wet victim. You became more outspoken with age, as if a truth serum spell was cast over you. People's body size, skin color, glasses, clothes, and shoes were often commented on, whether you liked it or not. Even in your later days, when an elderly, hunched-over man walked by with his walker, you had to loudly declare, "That guy has no ass." Many times, you told me or nursing aides we looked pregnant when we were clearly not. Receiving the most outspoken award from your care home was well deserved. You had your political opinions as well. While watching Donald Trump on TV when he was U.S. president, You exclaimed, "Hasn't anyone shot him yet?" You really loved the male nursing aides and insisted they tend to you. When the female aides would come into your room, I could detect a small grumble. But when the young male nursing aides came, it was, "Well, hello." When an ambulance was called, you enjoyed the young male paramedics and told them how handsome they were and would continue to flirt and tease with them while waiting in the emergency room back hallways. Mom, you were one tough cookie. Despite the horrific medical traumas you have endured these last 5 years, you did not ever complain, and we are all in awe of your strength. As a child, I always knew I had a safe place to land. When I was hurt, I remember your soft voice saying, "Shh, it's all right." Now it's my turn to say to you, "Shh, it's all right." One who loses their mother loses a pure soul who blesses them and guards them constantly. It's my turn to bless you. Sleep tight and rest in peace, Mama. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to call on Maxine's oldest granddaughter, Randi Dittmer, who's going to offer some remembrances of Mom.
Hi, everyone. So I was hoping to keep my comments a little bit more lighthearted in the celebration of Nana. Most of my hard, locked-in memories are from when I was very young, and as I grew older, her quirky and cheeky antics are what stood out. I'm going to honor her by highlighting some of my favorite memories of her and what I refer to as her Nana-isms. Let's start with the first and most simple memories I had. She always had a bowl of Werther's Original or assorted licorices in a candy dish in her living room. The same living room, I will add, that no one went in until Thanksgiving or Christmas, and certainly no child. She had a clap-on, clap-off TV. Being 4, you can imagine my anticipation of her telling me it was time to turn off the TV at night and allowing me to do the clap. She always wore an apron when cooking, which is a testament to what a lady she was. Which is a great segue to the fact that she also had a makeup desk that I was very enamored with. It had a whole drawer dedicated to lipsticks. Adding to that, another highlight of mine would be going into her closet and running my hands through the numerous sequin dresses she had. She also had numerous pairs of lucite shoes, which at the time I thought were very comparable to Cinderella's glass slipper. I also thought it was very novel that she called pants slacks. She was excellent at making shortbread cookies, butter tarts, and turkey dinner. But she always insisted on making that marshmallow fruit salad on holidays that no one ate except for her.
We all ate it.
It's like one spoonful, though. It was just on her plate. Later on, some of my memories of her became a little quirkier, like how she never hesitated to give her opinion on my looks. In early stages, it was a little bit more passive-aggressive. "Your hair is very dark." "Well, you certainly look healthy." "You're very blonde now. Maybe you should have a sandwich." A very Nana moment to share is that time she used my bridal shower at my mom's house to start looking through the drawers, only to accuse my mom of stealing her cutlery. One of my favorite yet unfortunate memories of her as a teenager is when she so generously offered to take me, my mom, and herself on a trip to Las Vegas for like a generational girls trip. I don't think my mom or her had been to Las Vegas for years, and this was my first time. We all made the amateur mistake of thinking we could walk from the Excalibur Hotel to the MGM Hotel in the afternoon before we were going to see Siegfried and Roy to pick up our tickets at Will Call. When the front desk staff told us it was just like a few hotels down, we'll be able to see it when we go out the doors, he failed to take in consideration that it was 35 degrees Celsius out and we were from Canada. And we failed to understand that just a few hotels down meant like 4 or 5 miles. I remember walking when we were about halfway there and turning around to see Nana in her slacks, panting, beet red, and sweating. Unfortunately, this did her in, and she was in bed with heat stroke for the rest of the trip. I do have to give her recognition, though. She was the first person to ever take me to Las Vegas. She was responsible for a lot of firsts. She was also the first person, along with my papa and my parents, of course, to take my brother and I to Disneyland, SeaWorld, the San Diego Zoo, and the first person to give me a China tea set. Also, the first person to tell me how to cross my cutlery on my plate to signal when I'm done my meal. So now I would like to take this time to cheers to Nana, to the proper lady she was, her quirks, her cheekiness, and her no-holds-bar honesty. Cheers.
So we found Rick. Yeah. He's here. Brother Rick's got a few words to offer.
I'm already missing my speech, but whatever. All right, welcome. Long time. Welcome to Mom's farewell and celebration of her life. A lot of faces I haven't seen in a very long time. Good to see everybody. But I wanted to commend Mom on raising us very well and bringing open our house to our friends. Always a warm welcome, and just laughed with us, laughed at us on the shit we used to do. You know, just and just the moments traveling and stuff, and gave us freedom to do what we wanted in life, and it's good. She will be, just wanted to know she'll be loved and missed and respected for the decades to come and remembered. So, cheers to you, Mom. We'll miss you.
So just before I have a few closing remarks, I would like to, in true Porkka fashion, we organized this all ourselves because, damn it, we're going to spend the money on a party, not at the funeral home. So lots of people came out to help, and people stepped up. So I'd like to thank everybody who came out to step from Ravi Mitchell, who did all the flowers for today, and David Maureen Chauvet lent the sound system. My lovely and talented cousin Barbara Askin did lots of organized the display there. Old friends, Doreen Albright, Martin Saunders, Tim Trentham, and Wendy and Jeff Parker, who just made us, helped us out so much in order to put this together. Maxine, our mom, the last of her generation, was predeceased by our dad Roy in 2011, Father George Waddell in 1972, Mother Janet Waddell in 1987, half siblings Colin Waddell 1983, James Ward 1984, Archie Waddell 2006, and finally her last sister left us in 2008, Margaret Druitt. Maxine, our mom, survived by me, Carol, Rick, Mary Lou, Carol, and Mark MacNaughton, our special friend Cindy Bazin and her husband Lawrence, along with grandchildren Randi and David, Blake and Emily, Ryan and Marky, Peter and great-grandson Hudson and Landon Dittmer, as well as Miss Blakewood, who's here somewhere today. She might have left us, but and of course, sister-in-law Lord Mae Porkka, and many nieces and nephews who are here today. Mom instilled the values of humor, hard work, dependability, punctuality, or else, organization, proper dress, kindness, politeness in her children. These were skills she believed that would help every person climb their mountain. So I have a little farewell poem that I'd like to read about Mom. In fields of green where Scots winds blow, a spirited life began to grow. Born to a family blended with care, with laughter and love she learned to share. She danced through life with a song in her heart. Like the sound of music, she played her part. Organized, active, with purpose and grace, she left her bright mark every place. In community halls, on golf course green, at bridge tables, theaters, her joy could be seen. With a smile that teased and a laugh so bright, she brought to our lives endless light. As a mom, aunt, friend, our grandmother dear, her love was constant and always near. Now she moves on, and in peace she'll abide. Her spirit lives on, forever our guide. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand if you are able, and with a glass in hand. Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow till you find your dream. Here's a toast to Maxine. Thanks very much for coming, everyone. The bar is still open, and feel free to chat with people that you have not seen for a long time and enjoy. There'll be a little bit more hot food coming out as well. But once again, we really appreciate it. Means your attendance. It means so much to our family. So thanks again. Oh, and by the way, the video's on YouTube. Just Google Maxine Porkka. You can see it again. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Have a great afternoon. Hi,